That self-deprecating humor, I think, always wins in my eyes. When a brand can kind of make fun, poke fun at themselves, whether it's a common thing about their brand that they know their consumers complain about, or it's a fun fact. Those are the ones that I think are breaking through.
Joining me at the Speaker's Corner, powered by the New York Stock Exchange, is Luz Corona. She is the editor at Campaign in the U.S. Luz, fantastic to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Luz, let's talk about Possible. What excites you most about being at Possible this year?
Well, this is my first year, and what a crowd it is. I think the most interesting part has just been talking to people. I haven't, in an industry where we're also used to Zoom meetings and, just catching up over a quick cup of coffee, here it's been really nice to just everybody be under the same roof and just asking them, face to face, what are your biggest challenges? Why are you here? What are you looking to get out of? So I think it's really the in-person experience of talking to people.
So, Luz, tell me, are there any marketing or advertising trends that you're tuned into right now?
Yeah, I mean, AI is the sexy topic right now, right? AI, but I think it's an interesting time for creativity. We're going into Cannes, so you're going to see a lot of creative ads, almost like a big final push going on right now. But I think more than anything, marketers are trying to figure out how to make the most out of their budgets right now, especially, not to go too deep into politics, but obviously marketing budgets are kind of being a little bit deprioritized, and brands these days want to see their media dollars working. So they want to know that the money that they are spending on marketing is actually working, because they don't know what's going to happen with production costs and things like that. So that's a really exciting part of marketing right now.
So, as you mentioned, it is a challenging economic environment right now. So, how is today's environment reshaping the ways that brands are approaching storytelling?
Brands right now need to make clear their value proposition. So there's a lot of challenges on the table right now that brands are trying to navigate. So it's a noisy landscape, right? You have to have creative that breaks through the noise, but also makes sense to your own brand. It can't just be something out of left field that we marketers think is really cool, but your consumer is left scratching their head. So there's multiple things that they need to do right now. So it's brands trying to get their stories out in a clear, concise way that makes sense and also serves their audience. Those are the main things right now that everyone is trying to figure out how to do, and then also make the most out of those marketing budgets to get that creative out there.
So, Luz, you mentioned short while ago that AI is the sexy topic out there right now. So how are you seeing brands use AI in smart, creative ways?
So I think everyone right now is trying to figure out how to use it in their creative. What I see more now is using it in the workflow, in production, and trying to save, manpower and energy there. So what I'm seeing a lot now is people just trying to figure out how to work it into their workflow. And then creative, it's an interesting topic because people are divided, right? So Coca-Cola's Christmas AI ad, people were divided over it. How could you make a commercial with AI, and things like that? But there's the other half that loves it. I think the main thing is consumers and brands, everyone just wants to know they're watching something that's real. And if it's not real, maybe it needs to be said or acknowledged, whether that's a disclaimer, this was used with AI or something like that. But I think consumers, they're just tired of the gimmicks and just wanting to, everybody's pulling out the flashy products and trying to make a really cool commercial with AI, but consumers are left scratching their heads just saying, like, is this real? What does this have to do with what you're providing to me, whether it's a service or a product? So that's where we're at.
Okay, and how about younger audiences? How are brands breaking through with younger audiences today?
Yeah. What's funny? I was there's some students walking around from Miami Ad School, and talking to them yesterday. They just want to know their same thing. They want to know that the stories they're watching are real. They want, to use that overused word right now, authenticity. It's almost like take a shot every time you hear that. But it really is, the younger audiences, ad fatigue. They have ad blockers set up. That wasn't around like 10, 20 years ago. You know, they purposely are setting up blockers to not see these ads. So they just want to see the real stories. They want to laugh a little. You know, it's almost that self-deprecating humor, I think, always wins in my eyes. You know, when a brand can kind of make fun, poke fun at themselves, you know, whether it's a common thing about their brand that they know their consumers complain about, or, you know, it's a fun fact. Those are the ones that I think are breaking through. It's the brands that are staying real to themselves, and whatever, however that may look. That's what's resonating with Gen Z. Liquid Death is a great example of that. That unhinged, crazy behavior where they're just fearlessly making things that are true to their story, and people are getting a kick out of it. Those are the kind of brands that are breaking through the noise and, you know, and having fun.
All right. Well, Luz, fantastic to talk with you. Thank you for joining me at the Speaker's Corner.
Thank you so much, Judy.